On this Memorial Day, we honor the veterans who have made the ultimate sacrifice. As today, the YES Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's going to be the Yankees against the Oakland A's in Game 1 of a 3-game series from Overstock.com Coliseum in Oakland, California. Hi, everybody. Ken Singleton along with David Cone. We hope you're enjoying your Memorial Day. Yesterday, the Yankees finalized a 3-game series in Seattle with a victory. CC Sabathia pitched very well, 8 strong innings, and David, the Yankees got some hits at the right time for a change.
Yeah, they did, to give CC some support, and anytime you give that big fella some runs, he's going to work with it and make it go. Nick Swisher got it started, batting right-handed. After getting robbed batting left-handed the previous night, he goes deep, a line drive shot, and now with the bases loaded, Andrew Jones shoots it down the right field line. That's going to clear the bases and give the Yankees 3 runs on 1 hit. Here comes A-Rod. Here comes Robbie, and here comes Nick Swisher, and he is out, but he's called safe. So 3 runs are in. Andrew Jones takes third base, and CC Sabathia's got all he needs to work with.
The Yankees won 7-1 yesterday. Let's check out our New York Lottery pitching matchup for this afternoon. It's going to be another veteran on the mound for the Yankees. Bartolo Colon gets the call. He's 2-3 with a 3.77 ERA, and a young right-hander on the mound for the A's today, Trevor Cahill. He's one of the best young pitchers in the league, 6-2 with a 2.02 earned run average. These are the numbers here in Oakland. They do some pitching here at the Coliseum. They are first in earned run average, first in quality starts, third in opponent's batting average. They have allowed the fewest home runs, and they are third in whip. They have quite a young pitching staff here in Oakland. We're just about ready for baseball here in Oakland. As we get ready to start the first game of this 3-game series, we are getting to the meat of the schedule in the baseball season. We got lineups, first pitch, baseball, coming up next. The Yankees starting lineup presented by Bank of America at the very top. We told you it's going to be the captain, Derek Jeter, leading off. Curtis Granderson, he's been hot. He's in center field. Mark Teixeira, he's been hot as well. He's at first base. Alex Rodriguez, cleanup spot. He'll be at third base. Robinson Cano will be at second, followed by Jorge Posada as the designated hitter. Then Nick Swisher hit a home run yesterday in Seattle. Can he do it again today in Oakland? Brett Gardner will be in left, and Francisco Cervelli, a late addition to the lineup for the Yankees. He will bat 9th.
Here's Trevor Cahill, the guy I was just talking about. I'm anxious to see him throw. He's coming in with impressive numbers. Big right-hander. 11 starts so far, 6-2 and a 2.02 ERA, 71 1/3 innings, only 62 hits, 25 to 56 walks to strikeouts. Take a look at the Chief Pitcher Scouting Report on Trevor Cahill. He is a groundhog. Only 22% of his outs are in the air this year. That is the 2nd lowest in the American League. Who's the first? His teammate, Brett Anderson. So they've got some ground ball machines out here in Oakland. And trouble with the Yanks, though, as I said before also. He's 0-2 in his 2 starts against the Yanks. He's given up 14 earned runs in 10 innings for a 12.60 ERA. And bullpen support, he has been lifted from 33 games in his career, Kenny, with a lead. And in all 33 of those games, his bullpen has preserved the lead for him. That is the longest streak currently in the major leagues. That's what you call getting picked up by your pen.
Yeah, he should be taking those guys out to dinner, huh? We're about ready to go here in Oakland, California, as the captain, Derek Jeter, leads it off, and he's got a 4-game hitting streak going. It is time for baseball here in Oakland. And the first pitch is downstairs, ball 1. Jeter was 4 for 13 in Seattle. As he takes a pitch for a call strike, and 16 years ago today, Derek Jeter got his first major league hit. And now he sits at 2,980, just 20 away from 3,000. Pitch is lined into center field for a base hit. And now he's inside of 20, 19 hits away from the magical 3,000 mark.
Well, we see Cahill slinging a sinker, and that's up about belt high. That's not what he's known for. He got that ball up, and that's what happens when sinker ballers get it up. They get hit hard, and Jeter does just that, deposits it in center field for a line drive knock.
First hit 16 years ago today was a single in the 5th inning off Tim Belcher, right-hander. Here's Curtis Granderson. And the first pitch is outside for ball one. Granderson with 30 extra base hits. He too, like Jeter, went 4 for 13 in Seattle. That pitch misses, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Today's closed captioning brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Three balls and no strikes. As Cahill misses the strike zone.
See Cahill shaking his head. Boy, he's really elevated so far in this first inning. Just getting started, and his ball is up and flat.
Granderson taking all the way, and that's a knee-high strike right down the middle, and it's 3-1. Jeter's on the move, and the ball is hit in the air to right field. Hit fairly well. Going back is DeJesus on the warning track, and well, just in front of it, makes the catch for the out. Let's check out the A's defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. You saw DeJesus in right field. From right to left, it's going to be Crisp in center, Willingham in left. Kuzminov, Pennington, Ellis, and Barton in the infield, with Suzuki doing the catching for Cahill. So Joe Girardi trying to get something starting, having Derek Jeter on the move on the 3-1 pitch. And that'll bring up Mark Teixeira, who's been driving in runs at an amazing clip as he takes a pitch for a call strike. 14 runs batted in his last 10 games. Third in baseball in home runs with 15. Check on Jeter. The A's kind of moved the infield around. Only one infielder on the left side of second base. That throw almost got away from Barton. Teixeira tied with Jay Bruce of the Cincinnati Reds for third in the major leagues in home runs with 15. Reds have a home run hitting team too, don't they?
Jay Bruce can hit.
Jeter's on the move again. This pitch is fouled off just beyond the on-deck circle. Derek feeling kind of spry here in the first inning. Now that he's the all-time leading stolen bases for the Yankees.
That's right. He passed Ricky Henderson the other night for the all-time leader in stolen bases. But you know, they are called the Bronx Bombers for a reason.
And Cahill made a couple of starts, one at Oakland and one at Yankee Stadium. That pitch is high for a ball last year, and he struggled. He lost both those games. 14 runs in 10 innings. In one of those games, Alex Rodriguez hit a grand slam off it. Pitch to Teixeira is hit high in the air. This is the deep right field. Going back is DeJesus. He looks up. This one is gone. A 2-run home run for Mark Teixeira. He is on fire as the Yankees take a 2-0 lead. There's a happy fan. Teixeira's 16th home run of the year. And he now has 7 home runs in his last 11 games.
Well, we saw Cahill just seems to be getting the ball up, but that's a breaking ball, and it breaks right into his wheelhouse. For a left-handed hitter, about thigh high, right on the inner half of the plate. Teixeira just launches it.
Here's Alex Rodriguez, and he takes a pitch outside for a ball for the Yankees. That was home run number 80 on the season.
Boy, that's a nice pitch to hit. Cahill, he looks a little flat, and he struggled against the Yankees, and Teixeira made him pay right there.
A-Rod takes one low and away, ball 2. Do you think what has happened in the past has gone through his mind against the Yankees?
It is now. I'm sure he came in, you know, it's the only team he has not beat in the American League are the Yankees. And not only has he not beaten them, they have beaten up on him, and the trend continues in the first.
3-0 to count out Alex Rodriguez. Let's see if A-Rod's got a green light. A-Rod's sitting on a 9-game hitting streak. And no chance. That's ball 4. Way out of the strike zone. Kurt Suzuki's going to go out and talk to his big right-hander. And here comes the pitching coach, Ron Romanek. And he's going to talk to the big right hand just to slow him down a bit here in the first before things get too far out of control. A reminder that IOTV offers incredible HD picture and sound. Get the best in HD free. IOTV is the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes.
Batting in the fifth position, second baseman, number 24.
So Ron Romanek, who's done a pretty good job with this pitching staff. We told you how well they've been doing. But right now, Cahill struggling here in the first inning against the Yankees. Interleague play is coming. Bartolo's getting ready early.
Everybody's grabbing a bat on the bench.
Here's Cano, and he'll take the first pitch low and inside for a ball. There are the numbers on Robbie. 10 home runs, 34 runs batted in. He had 4 hits in Seattle and 14 at bats to get his road trip started. Pitch is line towards the gap in right center field. It's going to be in there for an extra base hit. Cano turns at first. He's headed for second. A-Rod's to third, and they're going to wave him home. He's going to score as the Yankees take a 3-0 lead, but Cano is tagged out at second as he rounds the base too far. So give Cano a double. He did round second base.
Oh, it's another pitch, belt high, right out over the plate. Cano just laces it right in the gap. See, DeJesus is going to try to cut this off and just can't quite get it. A little bit of a snow cone gets by him. That's going to allow A-Rod to easily score. You see Robbie kind of got caught crossing second base and just got the throw behind him and got picked at second, but nonetheless the Yankees have 3 runs on the board in the first inning.
So 3-zip, 1 out. I'll make that 2 outs, and here's Posada. And Jorge takes a pitch in there for a called strike.
You see Ellis does a good job of throwing behind the runner. He had no chance at A-Rod at home, and Robbie is caught.
A ball and a strike on Jorge Posada. Gets the call as a designated hitter this afternoon. Posada swings this one in the air to left field. On the move is Willingham over near the corner, and he makes the catch for the final out. Well, the Yankees come up with 3 runs. 2 of them courtesy of the home run by Mark Teixeira, his 16th home run of the year, and the Yankees are off and running here in Oakland. They lead 3-0. Veteran Bartolo Colon on the mound for the Yankees, looking for his 3rd victory of the season. It's a nice way to hit the mound with a 3-0 lead. Let's check out the A's starting lineup presented by Avis. At the very top is the veteran Coco Crisp. He's in center field. Derek Barton will be the first baseman. David DeJesus out of New Jersey. He'll be in right field. Josh Willingham in left. Hideki Matsui, former Yankee, will be the designated hitter. Kurt Suzuki does the catching. Mark Ellis will be at second. Kevin Kuzmanoff will be at third, and Cliff Pennington will bat 9th, and he'll play at short.
Here's Bartolo Colon wearing the Stars and Stripes hat, ready to go with a 3-run lead, and on the season, 10 games, 7 starts, 2-3, 3.77 ERA, 57 in the 3rd innings, only 15 walks, and to 56 strikeouts. Let's take a look at the G-Pitcher Scouting Report. Big movement. You know, nowadays with the Pitch Fix technology, radar tracking system, you can see how his ball is moving vertically and horizontally, and his numbers are off the charts, better than any point in his career. Caught looking, over half of his Ks are of the looking variety. 31 out of 56 have been called 3rd strikes, and a man of his people.
First pitch to Crisp is a call strike.
From the Dominican Republic is Bartolo Colon, and he is among the best of that country. Juan Marichel's got 243 wins. The great Pedro Martinez with 219 career wins, and Bartolo Colon right behind him with 155.
Pitch is fouled off by Coco Crisp, and the count is 0-2. So he's 3rd on the all-time Dominican.
Yes, he's in good company.
Yes.
Juan Marichel, and Pedro Martinez, and Bartolo Colon.
Coco Crisp up there at 273. We mentioned the A's are a lot like Seattle. Not a you know, it's hitting ball club. Let's put it that way. Pitches low for a ball 1 and 2. And his batting average at .273 is the highest of the starters in the lineup for the A's today. But Coco's been hot lately. Last 14 games, he's hitting at a .322 clip. Cologne deals, and that is just off the corner. And that'll move the count to 2-2.
Bartolo taking a shot with a changeup there to try to get Coco Chris out in front.
There are the offensive numbers for the A's this year. They're 12th in runs, 12th in average, 13th in home runs, and 12th in on-base percentage. They get it done with pitching. Ground ball towards second for Cano. Gets a nice hop and a throw to first, and there's one down. You saw Robinson Cano at second base. The rest of the Yankees defense brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Gardner, Granderson, Swisher in the outfield. Rodriguez, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira in the infield. Cervelli doing the catching for Bartolo Colon. Now Russell Martin was scheduled to start this afternoon, but you might remember the other night in Seattle when he fouled the ball off his foot. That's been bothering him. Big toe on his left foot, so Cervelli gets the call behind the plate today. Here's Derek Barton, first baseman. Swinging at the first pitch and doesn't get it. Strike one. Barton hitting .211. No home runs and 13 runs batted in. That pitch is a call strike. He's the only first baseman in the major leagues with as many as 75 at-bats who does not have a home run. First base has been known over the years as a power position. The 0-2 pitch. And that is called strike three. He's caught looking. Colon picks up his patented third call strike.
Well, this is the four-seam straight fastball variety, right to the glove, on the black, at the knees. And that's what Bartolo does. Sometimes his ball moves, sometimes it's straight. You have to guess as a hitter. That one was straight on the corner. And strike three called. Another called third strike for Bartolo Colon.
Here's David DeJesus, whose average is up to .247 on the strength of hitting .315 in his last 16 ball games. And the first pitch from Colon is in there for a call strike. David, I'm amazed that Colon throws so many fastballs. I mean, just fastball, he relies on the movement to make it, turn it into a breaking ball.
That's exactly right. It's almost like a slider, a left-handed pitcher slider, the way it's moving.
That one hits the outside corner, and it's quickly 0-2.
There's your point right there, Ken. The first pitch was the moving fastball. That was the straight. So you have to guess as a hitter. It's one fastball, but it's two different types of fastballs, and you know it's very hard to predict which one he's going to throw.
The 0-2 pitch, tried to clip that outside corner again, didn't get the call this time, and the count moves to 1-2.
He could have got it. Look at Cervelli down there doing the half split.
That's Tony Pena from years ago, isn't it?
Exactly, Tony Pena.
Tony's got a little smile on his face. I remember that. Tried to pick off the inside corner, and count moves to 2-2.
Cervelli's a good matchup. The great Tony Pena. He was one of the best catchers in his day, and he's also one of the best coaches around as well.
2 balls and 2 strikes. David DeJesus out of Rutgers University. Breaking ball hit on the ground to Teixeira. He's going to take it himself. And Bartolo Colon has a 1-2-3 first inning against the Oakland A's. It's on to the second. The Yankees leading 3-0. Nick Swisher takes a pitch, and that misses from Trevor Cahill for ball one. Swisher hit a home run batting right-handed yesterday. It was his 3rd home run of the season. Swings, bouncing ball to the right side for Barton. He's going to flip the Cahill covering, and Swisher's out number 1 here in the top of the second. Cahill with a rough going in the first inning, giving up 3 runs. Only the 3rd time in 12 starts that Cahill has given up at least 3 runs. So the Yankees jumped on him right away as the A's are fighting an uphill battle against Bartolo Colon. Here is Brett Gardner. Gardner looking for his first hit on the road trip. He went 0 for 9 in Seattle. And his average stands at .253. Kuzminov has come in well onto the grass at third base, and Barton's even with the bag at first, guarding against the bunt. And the first pitch looked like a changeup outside for a ball.
A little bit surprised by Kuzminov's defensive positioning. We haven't seen Gardner try to bunt all that much, or at least as much as you'd like to see with his speed.
Yeah, but not lately because he's been swinging the bat pretty well.
Right.
With the exception of Seattle, where he went 0 for 9.
Brett Butler, the former Dodger outfielder back in the 80s and 90s, one of the best bunters.
There's a call strike, 1-1.
He used to get 20 to 25 base hits a year just on bunting.
I'll tell you who was one of the best at eliminating streaks like 0 for 9. Rod Carew. He could sense when he was facing a tough pitcher. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. He was an excellent bunter, but he was a great hitter. Pitch is hit on the ground towards second. Ellis has it. He gets a good hop. Go to first is in time, and they're at two down. Let's check out the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. Here in Oakland today, the temperature in the high 50s. Humidity about 40%. The wind about 11 miles per hour. Partly cloudy and cool. I would say, though, it's an improvement over Seattle. Seattle was a little chilly and cloudy. And it was always a threat of rain. Here's Cervelli. Inserted into the lineup just before game time. Russell Martin had to sit out with a bad toe. First pitch to Cervelli is upstairs for a ball. If you're just joining us on this Memorial Day, the Yankees got 3 runs in the first inning. Cervelli takes a strike. Mark Teixeira continues his hot hitting, hit a 2-run homer. And Robinson Cano with a run-scoring double.
Derek Jeter with another leadoff single to get it going.
That pitch is in there for a strike. We should mention the fact that the Memorial Day is one of the mileposts during the course of the long baseball season, and you see where your team stands in the stand or is in the standings to find out what their season might be like. Pitch is lined to center field, and Cervelli has himself a solid single into center field with 2 outs. And from 1995 to 2010, 58% of the teams, as we watched the base hit by Cervelli, with sole possession of first place on the morning of Memorial Day, go on to win the division. But the fact is, I don't know if that's going to apply so much this year. Everybody is really packed tight within the American League.
Yeah, with the exception of Minnesota. I call it the Minnesota Twins effect. Minnesota's 17 or 18 games below 500. All of those games are spread out in the American League, and it's made the entire American League kind of bunched up, especially the American League East.
Pitch to Jeter, and he's taking all the way, and that's in for a strike. And the American League West standings as well.
Very tight. And of course, the Central, Cleveland's been the benefactor of that. They've jumped out and been the surprise of the American League, and they've got a big lead in the Central. But there's the East division right there, very tight. The Blue Jays and Orioles much improved this year. There's no patsies in the American League East. It's going to be a dogfight.
And in the Western Division, the A's in Seattle, a game and a half out, even tighter. Got the Rangers with a 1-game lead over the Angels. Pitch to Jeter, he takes again, and the count moves to 2 balls and a strike. Jeter had a base hit his first time up, increased his hitting streak to 5.
Well, that's a good sign as a leadoff hitter when your second at bat of the game comes in the second inning.
Little looper down the right field line. It's going to go towards the Yankee bullpen, and that's strike 2. I still say he's going to get that 3,000th hit against Colorado at Yankee Stadium. Now he's got 19 more hits to go.
Rocky Mountain High in New York.
Be quite a celebration. No other Yankee has ever reached the 3,000 hit mark. There goes Cervelli. The pitch is high for a ball, and Cervelli going to go in standing up at second base with a stolen base. Had himself quite a jump. That's his first stolen base of the year.
Oh, he did. He's off and running, looking back, and Suzuki looked like maybe he thought Derek Jeter swung too. He got a little hung up, but Cervelli was off to the races early.
So the count is now full on Jeter. Cervelli in scoring position. Yankees trying to add to a 3-0 lead. Pitch is on the way, and it's Lil Popper down the right field line. Going back is Barton, the first baseman. He makes the catch, and Cervelli will be stranded at second. As we're going to go to the bottom half of the second inning. Barton hauls it in, and the Yankees have hauled in a 3-0 lead. Yeah, the A's are coming off a 3-game sweep of the Baltimore Orioles, who were just in town, and they've won 4 in a row overall as Willingham swings at the first pitch and drives to the gap in right center field. This is going to hit the wall on the fly, and Willingham, who had a good series against Baltimore, is in at second with a double. Willingham drove in 7 runs against the Orioles in the recently completed series.
Yeah, he is the one batter in the lineup with some pop, and they really rely on him. You can see he drives that ball the other way. Strong right-handed bat.
The A's got him in a trade with the Washington Nationals. That's his 8th double of the year. First hit given up by Bartolo Colon. And here is Hideki Matsui. 7 years in a Yankee uniform, and he did the job. And the first pitch is a called strike. Matsui, in 12 career at bats against Cologne, has a couple of home runs. But 7 years with the Yankees, 4 times he drove in 100 or more runs. With a career high 116 in 2005. Pitches off the hands, and he might have broken his bat. No, maybe not. And the count goes to 0-2. 9th major league season. 2-time All-Star. Grand slam in his first game at Yankee Stadium. He had a flair for the dramatic. And the 2009 World Series MVP. 8 for 13 with 3 home runs and 8 runs batted in. And I think what is impressive about that is he's become very popular here in Oakland, is that the designated hitter was not in vogue. Only in Yankee Stadium. So he didn't get all the chances that some of the other hitters got.
It's true.
There's a pitch just outside for a ball, 1-2.
You know, the great Hideki Matsui is a legend in Japan, and you know he's actually combined just 4 home runs away from 500. You know, he's had 164 in the major leagues, and in Japan he hit 332. It's only 25 major leaguers to hit that 500 home run mark, and only 8 in Japan.
Off-speed pitch is popped up. There's a lot of foul territory here in Oakland. Long run for Alex Rodriguez, who makes the catch. So Hideki Matsui fouls out to the former teammate Alex Rodriguez for out number 1.
It's a lot of foul territory in Oakland here. They're legendary for it. They play football here as well, and it's not really made for baseball. And you see over in this category over in here, you see a lot of foul territory, and a lot of outs are made in there that would normally be in the stands in other ballparks.
Yep, and that's one reason why they've never had a batting champion here. They've had some pretty good hitters, but never a batting champion. Here's Kurt Suzuki, the catcher. Suzuki is a workhorse behind home plate. Malone checking Willingham at second, and is low and away with ball 1. 432 starts at catcher, most of the major league since 2008. In his last 3 seasons, hit 13 home runs last year, 15 the year before. There's a call strike. And Tony Pena, you mentioned Tony Pena before, who 4-time Gold Glove winner as a catcher. He says that Suzuki's one of the best defensive catchers in the league, particularly at blocking balls in the dirt.
Well, when that guy talks catching right there, you certainly want to listen to him. Because, as I said before, well, he was something. He caught so many great pitchers in his career as well.
Swing and a miss, and the count goes to 1-2. Last year, if you recall, in games against the Yankees, Suzuki was batting in the 4th spot in the lineup.
Yeah, so he's really struggled in the month of May.
Swing and a miss, strike three. His struggles continue. So now there are 2 down here in the second inning. Take the Yankees with you when you travel out of the Yankees home territory. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see the Yankees game live or on demand on your computer or your favorite devices. Visit Yankees.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. That's baseball everywhere. Yankee fans everywhere. Here's Mark Ellis, the second baseman, taking a pitch for a called strike. Some of them have the prime seats too, right behind the I believe that's the Yankee dugout. Yeah, Yankee dugout. Ellis with a bouncing ball, high hopper to third for A-Rod. He's going to have to gun it across the diamond. A scoop by Teixeira on the other end, and Ellis is retired. So the A's leave a runner in scoring position. At the end of 2, the scoop by Teixeira keeps it a 3-0 lead for the Yankees. Time for the GE Capital Partner Play. Great partnerships are built on trust. At GE Capital, we prove that every day.
This is why Teixeira is so well liked by his Yankee infielders. He just saved A-Rod an error right there, and that was not an easy short hop.
Here's Granderson leading off in the 3rd inning, and he takes a pitch for ball 1 from Cahill. On the Lincoln scoreboard, it's the Yankees 3 and the A's nothing. Another pitch misses. 2 balls and no strikes. I mentioned Granderson has 30 extra base hits. That's the highest total in the American League. So he's done a lot of he's got his singles, but he's also moved on to second and third and home with the doubles, triples, and home runs.
Power and speed. What a great combination.
Little bouncer right back to the mound. Cahill gloves it. The high throw to Barton, who comes off the bag, steps on it for the out, and there's 1 down.
Now batting, number 25, Mark.
Now, David, did you?
Teixeira.
Some pitchers you see them run halfway and kind of flip. And were you a devotee of that, or?
You know, I could always change my arm angle, so I was almost like an infielder. I'd drop down sidearm and flip it over there. But you could see Cahill's got a kind of a slinging long arm action, and those kind of guys have a hard time kind of backing off and making those short throws. And he almost did a little airmail job to first base.
Here's Teixeira, who homered in the 1st inning. Takes a pitch for a strike. Home run number 16 on the season. And RBIs number 37 and 38. Off-speed pitch, and it's a swing and a miss. And with that 2-run home run, he takes over the team lead and runs batted in from Curtis Granderson. 7-11. Could do a lot of damage in Vegas with those numbers, huh?
Definitely. Instead of the M&M boys, we got the GT effect here.
The GT.
Granderson and Teixeira are just matching each other in the power numbers.
This pitch is driven deep to right field. De Jesus going back near the wall and makes the catch for out number 2. Teixeira, another bid for a home run, comes up a little short. And now there are 2 outs.
Now batting.
That reminds me, my first car was a GTO.
Rodriguez.
As we watched De Jesus make the catch.
Teixeira just a little bit out in front of that. Another good swing.
It was back in the days when gas was a lot cheaper, though.
The GTO, great. Yeah, I know, that was a hot car.
A-Rod takes a pitch upstairs for a ball. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
The young Ken Singleton.
Yeah. Red striped tires. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and A-Rod takes it for a call strike. 1-1.
Tearing up Mount Vernon, New York. Just another story of the Mets letting the wrong guy go.
Yeah. Pitch is hit on the ground is short. Pennington gloves it and throws it across, and the Yankees go quietly here in the 3rd inning. 1-2-3, but on to the bottom of the 3rd. Yankees leading by 3. As we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, the Yankees leading 3-0. On the Lincoln scoreboard, 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the A's. No runs, a hit, and no errors. It's time to go to our very own Kim Jones. And Kim, Memorial Day. It means a lot to a lot of people in this country, and it's a very special afternoon here in Oakland today.
Absolutely agreed, Kenny, on all counts. And Joe Girardi saying today, baseball and Memorial Day are perfect together. Joe noting that his father served in the Korean War, also had some uncles who served, and Joe saying he appreciates the service and sacrifice of the men and women in our military. Meanwhile, Kenny, the Oakland A's have forged a special bond with U.S. Army's Bravo Company, which is stationed in Kuwait. They are also known as the Night Riders. They do a lot of their work in Iraq. And all of it started when specialist Mark Braden, no relation, contacted the A's and said, what do you say? Dallas Braden and I exchange uniforms. In a word, the A's response was, done. They sent a Dallas Braden uniform down to the White Shoes and a bunch of Oakland A's caps over to Kuwait. In return, specialist Braden put on that uniform and distributed those caps. And also today, Dallas Braden wore specialist Mark Braden's uniform in pregame ceremonies at home plate. He also wore his dog tags as the Oakland A's honored our men and women in the military. And the Oakland A's also wore some special caps during batting practice, those of the U.S. Army Patrol. And those are caps that have been worn during escort voyages in Iraq. And I'll tell you what, I was in the A's clubhouse coincidentally when those caps were handed out. I can tell you, Kenny and David, they didn't last long. The players were grabbing at them. And finally, to wrap this one up, Mark Braden and his troops in Kuwait are watching this game today. We certainly wish the specialist and his folks over there a very healthy and happy Memorial Day.
Kim, that's a super report, and certainly we want to wish all the men and women serving in our armed forces around the world as we look at the armed forces in Kuwait wearing the A's hats. Thank you, Kim, very much.
Thank you, Kenny.
2 outs, nobody on, back to the top of the order, and Cocoa Crisp. I know, well, everybody's at home firing up the barbecues and having a good, this is kind of like the unofficial start of summer. There is a special meeting to this day for a lot of people in this country, and there's Cocoa Crisp from earlier wearing the camouflage caps that were handed out to the A's. Coco takes a pitch, and there's that fastball that darts back. I call it the spillover fastball.
It's spilling over more than it ever has been. You know, I mentioned in the G pitcher scouting report that Bartolo Colon on the pitch fix data has gained 3 inches of movement on that pitch from his previous years. That's pretty impressive.
1-1 pitch, and that hits the outside corner, in and then out.
There's the straight four-seamer on the outside corner, almost a dart. But when he throws that moving fastball, it's moving 3 inches more than it ever has at any point in his career, and it just goes to show you, that he's worked hard to come back, and he's better than ever in some respects.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Bartolo Colon goes through the A's 1-2-3 here in the 3rd inning. Colon and the Yankees have a 3-0 lead as we move to the 4th inning here in Oakland. Well, some Yankee fans on hand. Maybe they know the answer to the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz this afternoon. And which pitcher, oh, this involves me. Which pitcher did Ken Singleton have the most hits off in his career? Hint, that pitcher's in the Hall of Fame. Not me, the pitcher is.
I'd have had trouble with you, Kenny. You had a good eye. You would have spit on my splitters. You know, I would have tried to get you to chase. And
ground ball to second on the first pitch as Cano grounds out to, oh, it's one down. Yeah, I'm not swinging at anything out of the strike zone if I could help it.
I would have struggled with you. Yeah. I've thought about that. And, you know, I don't know what I would have done with you. I might have just said, here it is, you get it over with quick.
Number 20.
You know, your approach was different too. I remember watching you a lot.
I remember you saying earlier you tried to move me off the plate, and I said, yeah, maybe once you could do it. Here's Jorge Posada. Posada flied out to left field his first time up. Cahill is now only thrown 5 first pitch strikes to the first 14 hitters that he's faced. That usually doesn't get it done. He gets one in there to Posada. And Posada takes another pitch for a call strike, and it's 0-2. Upstairs for a ball. By the way, we'll have the answer to that trivia question in the bottom half of the inning. I think I know who it is. Somebody who I've faced many, many times. That's inside for a ball, and it's 2-2 on Jorge Posada.
And some damage too, right? Some homers, doubles.
He had nothing for me. You know what? He knows it too. You know, there's some pitchers I knew I couldn't hit. That pitch is outside.
That happens. You get into their head. You know, I've had some guys like that in my career too. Some of them were big names, some of them weren't. It's just amazing how that works. And you just see the ball out of the hands of some pitchers better. And conversely, as a pitcher, I just knew that this guy can't touch me.
3-2 pitch, and it's called strike 3. Posada takes a strike. That is the first strikeout. Now, coming into today, here are our Delta League leaders in earned run average. Josh Beckett, who took a loss last night in Detroit, matched up against Verlander. Then Cahill is second. Cahill has moved up a bit. He started the day at 2.02. Jared Weaver, James Shields, and Gio Gonzalez. We'll see him in the third game of this series. Young left-hander for the A's. So 2 outs, nobody on here for the Yankees in the fourth, and they bring up Nick Swisher. And he swings at a changeup and doesn't get it. Strike 1. I was talking to Kevin Long about Nick, and Nick's been hitting the ball well right-handed all season long, but talking to Kevin about Nick trying to get himself going left-handed. And he said he's kind of been feeling for the ball from the left-hand side of the plate. And instead of just being content with hitting the ball, you got to swing through the ball. And he says you see Nick pull balls foul right-handed, but you don't see him do that often left-handed. He won't swing at that one. That's up and in.
Yeah, how did you get out of it when you struggled with your switch hitting one way or the other?
I tried to hit the ball through the middle, but drive it right back where it came from. You know, sometimes you're a little too far out in front, or you're a little late, and I just tried to line it right over the pitcher. That pitch misses inside. 3 balls and a strike.
Any particular way that you struggle with more than another? It just varied?
No, you know, you could struggle either way as a hitter, as a switch hitter. But one thing I could always do, I could draw my base on balls, keep those at-bats down. 3-2 pitch. There's one. He pulls it foul, and that's a good sign.
Exactly what you were talking about right there. Turn it loose, especially on pitches on the inner half. And Swisher's capable of still getting walks too, even though his average is down. That's one of the things that the Yankees were attracted to when they initially made the trade for him.
So now Swish has the 3-2 count to deal with. And the pitch is low for ball 4. He takes the base on balls with 2 outs. And one thing that hitters that are willing to take the walks do, that not only do they drive the pitch count up of the opposing pitcher, they extend innings and make him work harder. And I've always felt that the hitter walked in front of me, the pitcher has to regain the strike zone, which means he might throw the next pitch closer to the middle of the plate just to pick up a strike and get ahead of the next hitter. So that's how you help the hitter in back of you. And in this case, it's going to be Brett Gardner who's coming to the plate. That was the first walk handed out by Cahill following his first strikeout of the game. There's a line drive, and it's caught by Ellis, but still, the pitch was towards the middle of the plate, and Gardner jumped on it. But that's the 3rd out here in the 4th inning, as Gardner lines out to the second baseman, Mark Ellis. Nice play by the second baseman. At the end of 3 1/2, it's 3-0 Yankees. Derek Barton's going to lead it off for the A's here in the 4th, but before he bats, we're going to give you the answer to our New York State Smokers quick line quiz. Which pitcher did Ken Singleton have the most hits off in his career? Hint, he's in the Hall of Fame. I would think it would have been Dennis Eckersley. Yeah.
Ooh, damage too. 3 homers.
Yeah.
That's a large sample size. That's 60 at-bats. That's no fluke.
You know what helps? When you got somebody who's in the Hall of Fame with Dennis Eckersley batting behind you. That was Eddie Murray, so he threw me a lot of strikes. This has to be in Baltimore. Eck is on the mound. Bam.
Ooh.
Take that, Eck.
Well, I wish you did you give him the fist pump like he used to do to the hitters?
No, I didn't, but that was part of a 4-for-4 afternoon. That was the first at bat.
Quick snatched him. Wristages.
Man, that was a young I looked in those days. The pitch is fouled off, and it's 2 balls and a strike. That was half a life ago.
Lean in those tight 1980s uniforms.
Yeah, those uniforms in those days, total package. Oh my goodness.
Nice.
I dress better now though. The pitch is outside.
You still look good.
3 balls and a strike on Barton. Barton throws a lot of base on balls. He will go deep in counts. He'll be followed by DeJesus here and then Willingham. Hits it hard, but Teixeira's right there, and it's out number 1. And Barton's struggles continue. He is just 19 for his make that 25 for his last 139.
Teixeira, piece of cake.
And that'll bring up David DeJesus. And you finally hit one well, and you still can't get a hit. I've been there too. Dennis Eckersley wasn't pitching every day.
Yeah. Oakland's kind of been there against the Yankees over the last couple of years.
Yeah, the Yankees they beat up on Oakland last year. They won 9 of the 10 games.
9 of 10, and they're 16-3 against them over the last 2 years. So the Yankees have really had the A's number. Jumped up 3-0 on Cahill so far today as well.
DeJesus grounded out to Teixeira his first time, but this time lines one just foul into the corner. We're talking about the Yankees' success against Oakland. A lot of things went the Yankees' way last year, including many balls that were hit down the line just foul for the Oakland A's, because the Yankees held the A's hitters in those 10 games to a 182 batting average. The pitchers really did the job against the Oakland A's last year. Lowest average against the Yankees in series of 10 or more games in the team history. 182. Today Cologne has allowed just 1 hit. DeJesus takes one off the corner. And it's 2 balls and a strike. 180. That's, you don't have to score many runs that way to win the ball games. Cologne goes to a breaking ball. It misses. And the count falls to 3-1. Yankees scoring 3 runs in the first inning against Trevor Cahill to jump off to a 3-0 lead. We are now in the bottom of the 4th. Ball is popped into foul territory, and it's going to be out of play. Count is now full.
DeJesus has actually been one of the A's that has been swinging the bat much better as of late. You know, over his last 16 games, he's hitting .315. He's born in Brooklyn, New York, Rutgers University. And a 4th-round pick from the Royals.
Last year he was having a pretty good season until he tried to make a catch at Yankee Stadium and injured a thumb, had to have surgery. He was hitting over 300 at the time for the Royals. Call strike 3. The spillover works. That ball jumped back into the strike zone, and that's strikeout number 4 for Bartolo Colon.
Well, Bartolo Colon is all over the black all day long, and when you have consistent control, you're going to get the benefit of the calls. And you watch Cervelli's glove, hits the target, a slight movement on it. DeJesus thinks it's inside. Colon has that kind of good control. The ball moves back to the inside corner. He's going to get those calls.
4 strikeouts, 2 of them on called 3rd strikes, and here's Willingham, who has the only hit for the A's today, and he takes a pitch for a called strike. Willingham ran one up the gap in right center field for his 8th double of the year, leading off the 2nd inning. He is the only Oakland hitter to reach base thus far in the ball game against Bartolo Colon. One ball and 1 strike.
You know, we talked about Bartolo Colon. Over half of his strikeouts come of the looking variety. Boy, and he's adding to that total today. A couple of more. Came into the game. 31 out of his 56 strikeouts were called 3rd strikes.
1-1 pitch. Hit on the ground slowly. Jeter charges, gets a nice belt-tied hop and throws out Willingham. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Bartolo Colon. He has retired 9 in a row. Here's Francisco Cervelli. He's got a good day going. Solid single to center field. It picked up. Look out! Cervelli is knocked down by the first pitch. Now, he's had enough injury problems in his career. This is close.
Yes, it is. Right under the chin.
Oof.
Hits the ground hard, too.
Put him in the spin cycle. 1 ball and no strikes. Cervelli takes the next pitch in there for a call strike. Cervelli had a line single to center field in the 2nd inning. One of 4 Yankee hits on the afternoon. There's a nice panoramic view of Coliseum here in Oakland. Curveball drops in for a strike. David, over the years, you see pitchers struggle in the 1st inning, and all of a sudden, then they start to settle down a bit. Breaking ball on the ground to second for Ellis, who lays back, now comes up and it throws the first for the out. And it seems to me that they don't transfer what was going on in the bullpen in their warm-up to the mound early in the ball game, and then it takes them a while to get resettled.
Yeah, the damage was done quickly with Cahill, and everything was up in the 1st inning.
Number 2, Derek Jeter.
It got it started quickly in the 1st inning when Derek Jeter led off the ball game with a single to center field. He has popped out the first since then, so the captain is 1 for 2.
See, Cahill's a big guy, but he's not really a power pitcher. You know, he pitches all the way on the first side base of the rubber, and he kind of slings the ball. He throws across his body and tries to manufacture movement, and sometimes that just makes it flatter. And when you come out with that kind of a pitching style where you throw across your body from a high 3/4 delivery, your ball can really flatten out if it's not right. And we'll see here, maybe he held onto this ball a little bit long. Maybe he tripped him up. Maybe it looked like he pulled up a little bit. His knee, kind of shaking his knee out there a little bit.
He's still flexing it. 2 balls and no strikes to Jeter.
That's his push-off leg, too. That's the leg that you really need to get your balance
and power. Yeah.
That's your ground-up power from that back leg.
Ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes on Jeter. I always think of Tom Seaver and how he used to push off the rubber and get really down low, and man,
it's such an important part, because in the middle of your delivery, when you kick that leg up, that's the only thing touching the ground is that back leg. And that's your whole balance is relying upon that back leg. You see him shaking it like he's got a little trouble with his knee or ankle. But right in the middle of his delivery, that's the only connection you have to the ground is that back leg. And as he comes through, he's not really pushing it off very well. You see, he's a little ginger with that.
Like groin, maybe?
Okay, yeah, it's hard to say. We're speculating. But, yeah, when you see a guy shaking his leg and not really striding out with the full stride, you know that if I'm on the bench there with the Oakland A's, I'm looking at him. Maybe you might want to make a visit out there and say, hey, you okay? Because that back leg's so important. And that's how you hurt your arm if you can't really push off that back leg. More pressure goes right to your shoulder or your elbow if you don't have your legs under you.
First pitch to Granderson is a strike following the walk to Jeter. Second walk handed out by Cahill this afternoon. Granderson is fly to right, grounded back to the pitcher. 0 for 2. That's outside for a ball. Yeah, I mentioned Tom Seaver, you know, another Hall of Fame pitcher. I think it was like 2 for 31 against him. See, like I said, Dennis Eckersley did not pitch every day.
Well, that's no shame.
No.
With Tom Terrific.
No. Pitch is swung on and missed by Granderson, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. There's a retired number of Dennis Eckersley, Hall of Famer. By the time he got to Oakland, he was a prime-time reliever. A closer. One of the best in the game. Granderson swings and misses again and has struck out. Well, you have a chance. We'll check out tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Get the ultimate in entertainment on the Ultimate Network. Fios, a network ahead. Freddie Garcia, the Chief, is going to be pitching for the Yankees, 3-4 with a 3.26, and another pitcher gets a lot of ground balls. Left-hander this time. Brett Anderson gets the start for the A's, and he too has a good ERA, 2.84. The Sheriffs had 2 swings today, and 2 good swings at Trevor Cahill. First time up, he homered, and last time up, he flied out to the wall in right field. Little bouncer foul. Here's Bartolo Colon. Is that the weighted ball he's dealing with?
Looks like it, yeah, as he's using it just to kind of, you know, keep his grip going, keep his arm a little bit loose. We've seen Mariano Rivera use a weighted ball. It's almost like a hitter who uses a donut on a bat.
Pitch is popped up. This is in foul territory, and it's going to be Kurt Suzuki, the catcher, who makes the catch. For the third out here in the fifth inning. The sheriff fouls out. It's on to the bottom of the fifth. The Yankees leading 3-0 against the A's.
Let's check out the Home Depot hitter scatter report on Hideki Matsui, the great Matsui, chasing 500. He's almost to 500 home runs collectively between Japan and the major leagues, and that's a pretty impressive number combined. He's so popular in Japan. You know, 500 home runs would really be a nice mark for him to hit. Struggling in May, though. He's just 14 for 68 for a 206 batting average, which now puts him into a platoon position. He's not faced a left-handed hitter since May 2nd, so the great Matsui, hope he gets to 500 home runs, but we may be seeing, you know, the final days of this great player's career.
Whenever that career ends, he'll go back to Japan as a hero. What he's done in that country and here in the United States in Major League Baseball. Bartolo Colon has the count at 1-1 against Matsui, but followed by Suzuki and Ellis. Ball is popped up. This is into short right field. Coming on is Swisher. He's there and makes the catch for out number 1. Trevor Cahill, we pointed out last inning, they seem to be struggling with an injury to his leg, but nobody has actually come over to check on him, and he's still flexing.
The catcher, number 8, Kurt Suzuki.
Well, not only one leg, but the other as well. So we don't know what the problem is, or even if there is a problem. But he's not coming out of the ball game. At least it appears not as of yet. Here's Kurt Suzuki. And the catcher swings at the first pitch and fouls it off. By the way, that fly ball out by Matsui, only the second ball out of the infield against Cologne today. Willingham had a double, and there's a fly ball out. So that's how dominant, in a way, Cologne has been. Not big strikeout total, but keeping the fat part of the bat off the ball. And right now he has Suzuki at an 0-2 count. One ball and 2 strikes. Kind of like the rhythm that Cologne and Cervelli have going here today. It's about the same amount of time between each pitch. Yeah. That shows you he's rolling.
Cologne, like CC Sabathia yesterday, a very easy pitcher to catch because he always is hitting the target, and when he misses, he just misses. Not a lot of balls in the dirt.
1-2 pitch, swung on it, missed, strike 3, and for the second time, Kurt Suzuki has struck out. Fans, you don't want to miss a Yankee Stadium tradition on Sunday, June 12th, when the Yankees take on the Cleveland Indians. It's bat day. First 10,000 guests 14 and younger will receive a mark to share a bat courtesy of Bank of America. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit Yankee Stadium ticket windows, Yankee Clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. That should be a big day at Yankee Stadium. Mark Ellis takes a pitch for a call strike. Cologne now with 5 strikeouts in the game. He has yet to walk a batter. Ellis grounded out to third his first time, 0 for 1. That pitch just missed the corner, and it's 1-1. Also, you know, throwing so many strikes, you could get the hitters in the swing mode, and they'll chase a few for you. This pitch is hit in the air to right field. Swisher going back. Looks like he's got a beat on it. He's there, makes the catch, and Bartolo Colon rolls along. He is now retired 12 straight Oakland A's. It's on to the 6th inning. The Yankees leading 3-0. Yankees are enjoying the journey this afternoon. They lead 3-0. Night game tomorrow here in Oakland, followed by a day game on Wednesday. Then a day off for the Yankees down in Anaheim as they get ready to take on the Angels for a weekend series. Alex Rodriguez leading off in the 6th inning, and he takes a pitch for a call strike. Then after a day off on the 6th, the Yankees have the Boston Red Sox and the Cleveland Indians to deal with at Yankee Stadium. 1 ball and 1 strike to A-Rod, who has walked and scored and also grounded to short. 0 for 1. 9-game hitting streak on the line for Alex Rodriguez, trying to make it double figures. Pitches, little chopper towards third. Kuzminov across the diamond, and A-Rod is thrown out here in the 6th inning. So 1 up and 1 down. And it'll bring along a Robinson Cano. This has not been one of the favorite ballparks for Cano over the years. He was only 4 for his last 45 coming into today's game. That's over a 12-game period, going back to April of 2007. But he's 1 for 2 today. So if you're willing to look beyond those last 45 at bats, he's hitting 500 here in Oakland.
Fresh start.
Yeah. That double in the 1st inning drove home a run, and it was his 11th double of the year as he takes a pitch outside for a ball. That's ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Might be time to load up here.
The thing I've noticed, Kenny, and you were so good at this in your career, is Robbie's just getting better pitches to hit over this recent streak.
Little bouncing ball to first. Barton has it, and Cano's going to be retired.
Got a good pitch to hit there, but it was a changeup, just a little out in front of it and rolled over it. But even in Seattle, a lot of his at-bats have been very good recently.
That home run he hit in Seattle, this ball had just enough movement on, just enough in front to get on top of it. There's Cahill getting over the cover to back. So there are 2 outs now to bring up Posada. But that home run he hit in Seattle, well, Felix Hernandez barely had time to call it. It got out of the ballpark so quickly. Jorge Posada will take a pitch for a call strike. Posada's 0 for 2. He's flied to left and was called out on strikes. Yankees have 3 runs on 4 hits. 3 of those hits coming in the 1st inning. There's the ball. Well, we just got notice of the attendance here today, 35,067, and that is considered a sellout here in Oakland. Posada hits one down the left field line towards the bullpen area, and it's going to hop into the seats for a souvenir. Now, as you look around the Coliseum here, the Overstock.com Coliseum, you see that there are tarps in the upper deck. And
that's for the football seats.
Yeah. Ball is low to Posada. 2-2. And during the Raider games, those seats are all filled.
You got to believe if the A's got back to the World Series here, they might have to open up those tarps and fill those seats as well.
2-2 pitch to Posada is low for ball 3. You know, I can recall back in the day when I played here that what they call Mount Davis wasn't there in center field. Those seats that were put in for football. And you used to be able to see the mountains off in the background. Cahill gone to a 3-ball count for the 7th time in today's game. And Posada fouls it at the plate.
Yeah, that's how he got him back from Los Angeles, right? He lost him to L.A., and then to draw him back, they had that Mount Davis build, as you said.
Yeah, you can barely see the mountains off in the distance. It was a very beautiful view from the dugout. And the bleachers, they played a lot of day games here. I remember that. A lot of people out there sunbathing during the course of the ball game. 3-2 pitch on the way to Posada. And a little chopper down the first base line. It's going to twist foul. Cahill going to an off-speed pitch, 3-2.
Yeah, he has settled down. His off-speed stuff has been much better the last few innings. His curveball's getting it going, and his changeup, it's really saved him because he hasn't had that super sinker that has been advertised by him. He's been a ground ball machine, but it's been up today. He's kind of slinging that sinker, and he's gotten hurt with it, but his off-speed pitches have saved him.
Ground ball to Barton at first. Is going to handle this himself, and the Yankees go quietly. 3 ground ball outs here in the 6th inning. It's Memorial Day throughout America. When you see a veteran, shake his hand, thank him for his service. Kevin Kuzminoff against Bartolo Colon in the 6th inning, and the first pitch is a breaking ball that hits the outside corner for a call strike. And Bartolo Colon's been doing a lot of that first pitch strikes.
Yeah, that's 13 out of 17 first pitch strikes today for Bartolo Colon.
Ball on the strike. Kuzminoff grounded out to the first baseman his first time up. Hitting just .218 with 3 home runs. Ball is lined into right field, and that's going to be the second hit of the ball game for the A's. And only the second Oakland A to get on base against Bartolo Colon. Leadoff single by Kuzminoff here in the 6th. And that breaks the string at 12 A's retired in a row. Colon has been dominant here in this ballpark. No matter what the name was, he's won 4 in a row here. Now known as Overstock.com Coliseum. Colon trying to be overstocked with wins as he misses outside for a ball. 2-time All-Star and a 2005 Cy Young Award winner, Bartolo Colon. That year he won 21 games for the Angels. Throwing the first to check on Kuzminoff. Only the second time today he's had to work out of the stretch.
Bartolo Colon, very hard to steal off. Had a streak broken, a really long streak that was leading the major leagues. You see that quick throw to first. He's very quick to home run, or to home rather. And you see he allowed a stolen base to Mark Reynolds in the 8th inning of his start against Baltimore on 5/18, snapping a streak of 167 and a third innings without allowing a stolen base. That was the longest streaks in the big leagues at the time.
1-0 pitch is fouled off. Now how's he do it? He has a good move to first, obviously.
He's quick to first, but even more quick to home. That slide step to home. You know, he delivers the ball so quickly to home and gives the catcher that much more time to throw the runners out at second. He actually is so quick to home that he inhibits runners from even trying to steal most of the time.
And opposing managers know this, and they don't put the sign on.
It's about the stop clock, and Bartolo Colon just delivers the ball so quickly to home plate, and the catchers have that much more of an advantage.
Ball is lined down the left field line. This is twisting foul as Brett Gardner's not going to be able to get it. And it's 2 strikes now, 1-2 on Pennington.
That was a heck of a streak that Bartolo Colon had going there.
You know, that's usually reserved for left-handed pitchers. It was Terry Holland, was it? And you could never steal against him. I think there were years before he gave up a stolen base.
Yeah, you're right. Very unusual for a right-handed pitcher to have that long.
Terry Mulholland.
Mulholland.
Yeah. Colon tried to hit that inside corner and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mulholland was a left-hander. Not only had a great move to first, but he was ultra quick to home plate. So you couldn't get a big lead, and he couldn't get a good jump. So why go?
See the flick of the thumb from Cervelli. That's the sign from the bench to throw over to first base. So see Cervelli looking to the dugout. It's probably Tony Pena that's going to give him the signs and control the running game. Right back to the fastball in.
Just the spillover. Ball is hit in the air and hit well to right field, but Swisher is there to make the catch for the first out. Time for the game summary, brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. Bartolo Colon, no walks, 5 strikeouts. The Yankees jump out in front 3-0 in the first inning to Sheriff. 2 of those runs, a 2-run homer, 16th of the year. And Robinson Cano with an RBI double that drove in Alex Rodriguez. And the Yankees have jumped out in front in the first, and it's been all zeros since then. And the A's only have 2 hits against Bartolo Colon. Now back to the top of the order, and Coco Crisp. Coco's got a, well, I guess a mild 4-game hit streak going, but he's 0 for 2 this afternoon. Fakes a bunt, takes a pitch for a called strike. Coco's not your prototypical leadoff hitter. He walked twice yesterday in a game against Baltimore, but he's only had 8 walks all season long. So he's up there swinging the bat. Done a good job stealing bases, though. He's got 16 steals in 21 attempts. Outside, and it's a ball and a strike.
That's what the A's are going to have to do. You know, they need this guy to steal bases. They need to get on base a little more. You know, I think you mentioned it early, Kenny, that the Yankees, just Granderson and Teixeira alone have 32 home runs this year. And Oakland as a team only has 30. So they have to find ways to score runs because their pitching is outstanding. The small ball here in Oakland, they're just looking for creative ways to get anything across, scratch across any kind of runs.
1 out, 1 on, a toss over the first. Kuzman off his back. Everybody in the A's lineup has at least 1 stolen base today, with the exception of Hideki Matsui. So the A's will, play the small ball. They'll try and get their runners into scoring position. Kuzmanov has 2 steals without being caught this year. Pitch is on the way, and Colon misses the outside corner again. It's 2 balls and a strike. Now, David, I got a question for you. After pitching out of the windup for so many hitters, now all of a sudden there's a man on. You have to get back in the rhythm of throwing from the stretch.
Yeah, it's kind of like a switch hitter, switching sides.
Yeah.
You know, when a left-hander comes in, if you're betting left-handed before. So, yeah, it is. Bartolo Colon features that slide step that we talked about before that makes him so tough to steal on. So, yes, there is a big adjustment for Bartolo Colon when he does go to the stretch.
Now, I've heard it been told that they always remind pitchers who are pitching so well like that, you know, in the warm-ups between innings, throw a few from the stretch just to keep a feel for it. 2-1 pitch is fouled off by Crisp. He had a good rip.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, almost every major league pitcher you will see, especially starters, that will throw a couple of pitches from the stretch on warm-ups in between every inning. And Bartolo's no different. You know, he's so simple with his arm action, and his release point is so consistent, and he features so many fastballs that it's much easier for him to make quicker adjustments.
To me, this is an amazing story. Here's a guy who missed all of last season with arm problems, had surgery, and now he's throwing like he did 5-6 years ago. That pitch is outside, and it's a full count now on Coco Crisp. Somewhat of a controversial surgery. Stem cells were used, and well, it's gotten it back on track.
The wave of the future.
Runner's not going on the 3-2 pitch. Ground ball slowly hit towards third. A-Rod to Cano. That's all they're going to get. Coco Crisp much too fast going down the first base line. Force out at second. There are 2 outs.
See Alex with the flip, and Robbie just thinks better of it. It's going to be a hard turn as Coco Crisp gets down the line so well, and that ball's not hit hard enough. See Coco Crisp almost 3/4 of the way there by the time Robbie gets the ball.
And that was one of those slash and dash. You know, he just kind of flicked the ball towards third and then started running. So Crisp is at first. He is a definite stolen base threat. Barton's at the plate, and Barton has a big swing and a miss for strike 1. Barton is 0 for 2, 3 for his last 22, and 25 for his last 139. That's over a 37-game period. He's ready for May to end. Move on to the next month. Stolen base leaders of the American League. Jacoby Ellsbury of the Red Sox on top, then followed by Coco Crisp, Elvis Andrus, and Rajai Davis. Could be a good relay team, those guys. Crisp is not going, and the pitch is low for a ball, 1-1.
Well, Kenny, you mentioned with Bartolo Colon, so tough to steal on. Coco Crisp. Crisp is the one that's looking to steal bases here. Try to get the A's on the scoreboard here. But prior to this season, Bartolo Colon did not pitch all last year, as you said. You'll see Cervelli here with the fastball away. I think it started July of '09 was the last time he started a game in the big leagues.
Ball hit on the ground. Cano going to his right. Gloves it, throws it. That's going to be it for the A's in the 6th inning. They do not score. They do pick up a hit. It's on to the 7th inning here in Oakland. 3-0. The New York Yankees lead. USAA would like to recognize our American military members here at the stadium this afternoon. On this Memorial Day, we honor those veterans past and present who've allowed us to have our freedoms. Job well done. Swisher's going to lead it off for the Yankees here in the top of the 7th inning, and Nick takes a pitch outside for ball 1. He's grounded out, drawn a walk. Swisher, Gardner, and Cervelli for the Yankees in the 7th against Trevor Cahill, who's still in there. Swisher hits a bouncing ball to first. And Barton, a little confusion there. Barton's going to do it himself. 3rd straight batter for the Yankees to ground out to the first baseman unassisted. Cadillac scoreboard has the Yankees scoring 3 runs in the 1st inning. That's been the extent of the scoring thus far in the ball game.
Number 11, Brett Gardner.
Gardner's 0 for 2. Grounded to second and lined out to second. Nice play by Mark Ellis to rob him of a hit.
Well, it didn't look like Trevor Cahill was going to be around very long in the 1st inning. He was getting banged around, but since then, only 1 hit and 2 walks. Give up 3 in the top of the 1st.
That 1 hit was Francisco Cervelli, a single at center field in the 2nd inning. So since the 2nd inning, the Yankees have only had 2 base runners. And the way that Colon has been going, pitchers have dominated since the top of the 1st inning. There's a pitch for a strike to Gardner, and it's 1-1. That misses. 2 balls and a strike. And to show you how well Colon has pitched, we told you that the A's just coming off a sweep of the Baltimore Orioles. 4 straight games, the A's have had 10 or more hits. So Colon has kind of shut them down today. That pitch misses, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Why is that man smiling? He's got a 2-hit shutout going through 6 innings.
The Yanks picked a winner when they picked him up in the offseason.
3-1 pitch, and Gardner takes ball 4. That pitch just missed inside, and the speedy Brett Gardner's on at first base. 3rd walk handed out by Cahill. And now we'll see how this affects the way they pitch for Cervelli. If you're Cervelli, you're looking for fastballs here. Cervelli has a single at a stolen base. He's also grounded to second. Gardner steps off a healthy lead at first base. A lot of things Joe Girardi could do here. Just put on a stolen base, the steal, or you could have the hit and run. Cervelli handles the bat pretty well.
I'd like to see Brett Gardner get going here, you know.
He's not going here. He's going back to first base as it throws over there.
You've seen Gardner kind of hesitate lately, you know, and it kind of false starts towards second base as you see Craig Breslow, the lefty, getting going in the A's bullpen. A little more decisive. See him make quick moves and decisive moves over there.
Inside for a ball to Cervelli. Gardner has 8 stolen bases on the year. He's been caught 6 times.
He's much better than that sort of a ratio.
Yeah, he got off to a very poor start this year. For a while, he was under 500 in stolen bases. Been caught more times than he'd actually stolen a bag. Now he's jumped back over that mark. Another throw to first. I think one thing, the league is more aware of him now after stealing 47 bases last year. Was only caught 9 times.
Those 47 stolen bases last year were the most by a Yankee since Rickey Henderson in 1988 when he stole 93.
This ball almost hit Cervelli again. He has to jump out of the way. Suzuki knocks it down, and Gardner's still at first. Second time to Cervelli's almost taken one up near the helmet.
Yeah, you could see Cervelli, you know, that was just a running fastball from Cahill. It started out on the plate, and he's got big movement.
Wait a minute. You're saying that wasn't that close?
It started out on the plate, and maybe Cervelli, you know, almost like he was trying to take one for the team there. Dive in with a little elbow. But
Gardner's going. The pitch is a ball. The throw to second is wide, and Gardner has a stolen base. To throw out the runners that have the speed of Gardner, everything has to work correctly.
Nice job by Gardner. Quick down. He doesn't raise up out of it. Stays low to the ground. A quick peek, and he's easily in there.
See, the throw was offline, and you're not going to get him if the throw is offline. It has to be right on the bag. The catcher has to make the strong throw. The pitcher has to get rid of the ball quickly to have any chance of getting a runner with the speed of Gardner. Meanwhile, Cervelli has drawn a walk. 2 walks in a row now, handed out by Cahill, and he's now got 4 in the ball game. And Suzuki's going to come out and talk to him, slow things down a bit, gives Breslow a little more chance to warm up. He's also going to bring the pitching coach, Ron Romanek, out of the dugout to talk to him. And it's time for another look at today's Toyota Text poll. And we'll go for the question. Let's see, what was the question? It's been so long ago. Which of these American League ballparks is the most pitcher friendly? And here's how you vote it. Very, very close, but it looks like Target Field edges out the competition. That goes to show you all those are pitcher friendly ballparks. Comerica with the deep outfield, Overstock.com.
Now batting, number 2, Derek.
And I believe that is the closest voting we've ever had. So Target Field is the winner. Cahill with his 4th walk. He walked 5 in his last start. That was a season high. So he's been off a little bit. Here's Jeter with 2 on and 1 out. Swings and fouls off the first pitch. Let me recheck that walk total today. 1, 2. Yeah, he's got 5 today. That's a season high.
About 50-50 strikes to balls, too. After that, before that last pitch, 52 strikes and 50 balls. But you know what? That's the type of game, you know, he's hung in there. He really has, but he down 3-0. No margin for error here.
The runners are going. The throw will go to second, and Cervelli's going to be safe. Cervelli got a late jump from first base as Gardner took off for third. And Suzuki, seeing that, went to second, but Cervelli's in there on the high throw, so it's a double steal.
You can see Kuzman off at third, barely moves. So the play was to go throw through to second to try to get the backup runner, which is Cervelli, but he's not being held on. So Cervelli easily going to get there.
Ball and a strike now on Jeter. Gardner now with 2 stolen bases is up to 10. Cervelli has 2 today, and that's his first 2 of the season.
Sort of wow. The A's are going to give it. The Yankees took it.
Jeter takes a pitch low and outside, and it's 2 balls and a strike. This is the best Yankee threat since the first inning. And they've used the wildness of Cahill to help them. Season high 5 base on balls. Infield is in. Jeter fouls one off to the right. There's 1 out. Runners at second and third. The count now levels off on Jeter at 2-2. In his career, Jeter's been a 300 hitter. He'll make it 302 against the A's. Swings and it's a high fly ball to center field. Coco Cripps is coming in. You've got Gardner at third, who has great speed. He's coming down the line. Here comes the throw, and he scores. It's 4-0 Yankees on a shallow sacrifice fly to center field. The Yankees had the right man at third base. Jeter picks up the run batted in.
Well, I was just sure there's going to be a play here because Coco Crisp is sizing it up, coming in. He's got his momentum going and just kind of a little bit of a lollipop throw, a soft bounce, and Gardner's flying down the line. Watch how decisive Gardner is. He's going right now. Stay low to the ground, straight through the home plate.
So the walk comes back to haunt Cahill, and the walk, his sacrifice fly, is actually going to drive him out of the ball game. He leaves on the short end of a 4-0 score.
Your attention, please.
Here are the numbers on Trevor Cahill. 4 runs in 6 2/3 innings to go along with 4 hits. And a new pitcher in the ball game is Craig Breslow. And the first pitch to Granderson is outside for ball 1. This call to the bullpen brought to you by AT&T as manager Bob Guerin makes the move. Goes to the left-hander to face Granderson. Granderson is 0 for 3. There are the numbers on Breslow. 25 hits in 20 innings. Granderson takes a call strike, and it's 1-1. Now Granderson has a streak going. He has scored a run in 8 straight ball games. He's 0 for 3 today. The longest streak this season in the American League, Ben Zobrist of the Rays scored a run in 10 straight games. Pitches inside for a ball. Call strike. 2-2. So the Yankees have tacked on a run here in the 7th inning and now lead 4-0. Two pitch, and Granderson hits it hard, but Ellis handles it and will throw him out, and that's going to do it for the Yankees here in the 7th. They pick up a run on no hits. And now it's time for the 7th inning stretch. We're going to stay right here at the Oakland Overstock.com Coliseum as we're going to hear a rendition of God Bless America from Marley Scott.
Ladies and gentlemen, in honor of Memorial Day, please rise and join Marley Scott in singing God Bless America.
God bless America, the land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Number 12.
Memorial Day celebration here in Oakland. Bottom of the 7th inning. The fans sitting in their seats now after the 7th inning stretch. Bartolo Colon has faced 2 batters over the limit as he goes into the Bottom of the 7th inning here. He's allowed just 2 hits, no walks on a Cadillac scoreboard. Yankees leading 4-0. Colon has 5 strikeouts. David DeJesus takes the first pitch, and that's been a theme today. First pitch strike from Bartolo Colon.
Well, we've really seen the Yankee effect on road attendance. Seattle had their 3 biggest crowds of the year here in Oakland. First game on this holiday, sold out.
Strike 2 call, 0-2.
Yankees are going to get a night game tomorrow night on Tuesday, and then a getaway day game on Wednesday as well.
Yep. It's also going to be a getaway day for us, too. Getaway back to the East Coast. DeJesus fouls the pitch off. I've been reminded by Bill Bowman that some of the crew is going to remain on the West Coast for the final leg of the 3-city tour. Kimberly's going to be headed to Anaheim.
I almost feel a little guilty not finishing off this trip.
Do you? I've seen Anaheim before. I mean, beautiful place. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, we just go 6 innings and turn it over to the bullpen.
That's the way. That's the nature of baseball.
Quality start. We got a quality start going.
Here's the 0-2 pitch, and it just misses the corner. Savelli held it steady for Jim Wolf. The home plate umpire did get the call. Yeah, Bob Lorenz and John Flaherty going to take over for the final leg of the Yankees West Coast swing.
A couple of Hollywood style guys.
Yeah, they'll fit right in. Tried to check a swing, and I believe he did. Yep, 2 balls and 2 strikes. They wear those reflector shades. Really cool. Fit right into the Hollywood scene. Or if you wanted the beach scene. Anaheim. 2-2 on DeJesus, leading it off for the A's in the 7th. Bouncing ball right back to Colon. And he'll throw out DeJesus, who is now 0-for-3. Colon has given up a double in the 2nd inning. Now that was to Josh Willingham, who's coming up right now, and a single to Kevin Kuzminoff in the 6th inning, and that has been it for the A's. Only one man as far as second base, and he's at the plate right now. Willingham with that double increased his hitting streak to 5 straight games. And he swings here and fouls it off. He is 7 for his last 17, so he's been swinging the bat pretty well. And he kind of demolished the Orioles all by himself in the previous series here. He drove in 7 runs in the 3 games. Including a big 3-run homer in yesterday's game. Inside, about belt high, and it's a ball and a strike on Willingham. Willingham came to the A's in a trade with the Washington Nationals. And he lines one to left field. Gardner coming on. It's going to hang up, and he makes the sliding catch. Willingham hit it on the nose. Second time he's hit the ball hard today, but this one is hauled in by Brett Gardner in left field.
Brett Gardner with a good read, and maybe one of the best left fielders in terms of range. Brett Gardner is, in my opinion. He covers a lot of ground.
Center fielder skills in left field. And what I like about him, he gets his throwing arm is good. I wouldn't call it great, but he gets a lot of assists because he charges the ball so well. 2 outs, nobody on, and here's Hideki Matsui. And the former Yankee takes a pitch high for ball 1. Hideki-san hitting .226 with 3 home runs. Pitch is hit in the air, foul, and A-Rod with a long run is not going to be able to get there and runs it to the target. That would have been about 12, 13 rows up at Yankee Stadium. And A-Rod would have saved a lot of energy. The count is 1-1 on Matsui.
Just 17 of Bartolo's 84 pitches have been off speed today. The rest have been all fastballs.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. You know, when you look down his breakdown, 11 sliders, 6 changeups. The rest are either 2-seam or 4-seam fastballs. 56 strikes, 28 balls.
Ground ball hit well to second. Nice out for Cano about that time. He's going to throw out Matsui. 1-2-3 for Cologne. We come back. Mark Teixeira, he's been hot on this road trip. Home runs in Seattle. He hit 2 there. And he's also hit 1 here in Oakland. Here's Mark Teixeira as advertised. And he takes a pitch in there for a call strike. Teixeira, 2-run homer in the first, fly deep to right in the third, and then fouled out to the catcher in the 5th. Switch hitter now batting right-handed against the left-hander Breslow. On the Hyundai scoreboard, Yankees leading 4-0. Teixeira's home run in the first inning increased the hitting streak for him to 7 consecutive games. But it's not your ordinary hitting streak. He's been hitting for power. That's outside for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He'll be followed by Alex Rodriguez and Robinson Cano. The heart of the Yankee order here in the top of the 8th inning. Low, and the count levels at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yankees leading 4-0. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Breslow puts him away. A-Rod swings at the first pitch. It's going to go back in the seats over the Yankee dugout. You know, Bartolo Colon, it'd be hard to vote against him today. He has been strong.
Yes. That's coming from the hitter up here.
Well, you know, every once in a while there's somebody who shuts you down.
Yeah, he's been that dominant. He gave him 3 runs in the first, and he has made it look like a 10-run lead.
Outside for a ball. Speaking of dominant, in their last 12 games against the A's, the Yankees are 11-1 and have outscored the A's 70-27. Ball is hit down the right field line. This is twisting foul beyond the Yankee bullpen and in and out of the seats. You see De Jesus? Did you see that? Did he catch it as it came out of the seats? Watch this. Ball goes in the seats. He catches it and holds it up for the umpire to see. Now that's not going to count.
It's like at Tropicana in Tampa off the skywalk, off the catwalk. Not exactly.
Good try though. Ball and 2 strikes on Rodriguez. Swings and misses at a pitch out of the zone, and he struck out. You know what? He didn't come up with it cleanly, but he's still trying to sell it.
That's a New York City kid right there,
Yeah.
and he's from New York.
That's a Brooklyn move. He was born in Brooklyn.
There you go.
And went to Rutgers University. A college education, you know.
There you go. He knows how to play the shell game.
2 outs, nobody on. Here's Cano. Cano had a double and an RBI in the first inning. He has since grounded out twice. Hitting an even .280 on the season. You know, he hasn't really had one of those patented Cano hot streaks, if you ask me. There's a pitch for a strike, and it's 0-2. But you get the feeling this guy could go off for a month or so.
Yeah, he looks like he's primed.
Yeah,
He's getting a lot of good at-bats lately.
Yeah, run that average up to 320 in a heartbeat.
Still got 10 home runs and 35 RBIs.
Yeah, that's pretty good totals this time of year going into June. Outside as Breslow tried to sneak one over the outside corner. Ball and 2 strikes. Cahill started for the A's, went 6 2/3, gave up 4 runs on 4 hits, walked a season high 5 and struck out a couple. The Yankees jumped on him quickly. 3 runs in the first. Outside, 2-2. Then added a run without a hit. Yankees using power and speed today to pick up their runs. They run in the 7th inning in particular. A walk to Gardner, stolen base. Cervelli then walked, then a double steal. There's Colon. 2 more innings, Colon says. Start up the bus. Cano lines one to right field. Coming on is DeJesus. He can't get this one. And the ball gets beyond him. Cano's the second. He's going to turn at second and head for third. And he's going to be in with a triple. That's going to be scored a triple as DeJesus trying to make a sliding catch. The ball bounds beyond him, and Cano had to turn it on.
Well, another good swing by Robbie Cano. And I guess that's a triple. Yeah, I mean, a good effort by DeJesus. And much like the last ball over by the dugout, he whiffs on the way by, but a good effort. Colon's feeling good about himself.
Keep going. So Cano's at third with his second triple of the year, and it brings up Jorge Posada, the designated hitter. And lately, Joe Girardi has not been using him when a lefty's been on the mound because Jorge does not have a hit yet this year. Batting right-handed, 0 for 26. Fouls one back. Here's the Coors Light freeze cam on the swing of Robinson Cano. Look how the head is down and the barrel of the bat is covering the ball. Beautiful swing. That's what you see on a Wheaties box.
Batting champion style swing right there.
So Cano's at third, Posada's at the plate. And he takes a pitch that misses for a ball, 2-1. So Jorge with a chance not only to drive in a run, but fill a column. Get his first hit batting right-handed this year. Swing and foul tipped into the glove of Suzuki, and it's 2-2. Posada batting right-handed is 0 for 26 with 10 strikeouts. And that's why he has seen limited action from this side of the plate. Full count now as Breslow misses outside. Jorge has walked 6 times as a right-handed hitter this year. Here's the payoff pitch. And it's swung on and missed, strike 3. He has struck out, and Cano is stranded at third. Where we're going to the bottom of the 8th. Colon set, 2 more innings to go. Bartolo Colon will face Kurt Suzuki. And the first pitch a little bit low for a ball. Suzuki's had a rough time today. He is 0 for 2 with a couple of swinging strikeouts. On our Hyundai scoreboard, Colon has allowed just 2 hits and no walks. The Yankees lead 4-0 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. There's a call strike, and it's 1-1. Well, yesterday we saw CC Sabathia win his 6th straight start at Safeco Field in Seattle. Bartolo Colon is attempting to win his 5th straight start here in Oakland. That pitch is low, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. It would run his record in this ballpark to 5-1. Brad Ziegler, right-handers up in the A's pen. That pitch is hit hard. Behind the bag, Cano drops the ball. It looked like he had a chance. The ball was hit that hard, but Suzuki's going to be safe at first.
Yeah, Robbie gets there in plenty of time. It's on the takeaway. Can't get the transfer down.
Second baseman,
And that's going to be scored a base hit for Suzuki.
And that's what you love to see from your pitcher. It's okay. I'll pick you up right here.
Second time in the game that the A's have had the leadoff man on. Here's Mark Ellis. Grounded third, flied to right. First pitch, call strike. Willingham had a leadoff double in the second inning. We'll make it the third time because Kuzminoff had a leadoff single in the sixth. So this is the third time that the A's have had the leadoff man on. That pitch just missed. It's 1-1 on Ellis.
Well, when Cologne has missed with his balls today, just missed. Barely. An inch or two, one way or another.
Ground ball off Cologne, maybe. Jeter has it, steps on second for one, on the first. Yeah, he was right. He says, I got you. And he gets a double play. I don't know if he touched the ball. It might have gone 1-6-3. We'll have another look at it. But he gets the double play to pick up his teammate, Robinson Cano.
Jeter with the unassisted.
No, I guess he didn't touch it.
Thought better of it.
You know, that's a veteran move. Because if he bobbles it, see, I got you.
Right, right. Nice.
He has a lot of fun. So 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Kuzminoff, who fouls the pitch off.
Kind of playing with house money right now, Bartolo Colon.
You know, that's a veteran move to let the ball go, knowing where Jeter is on the field. He's stationed at double play depth, so the ball's going to go just about right to him, and he'd step on the bag and turn it over. That's why Cologne let it go. Swing and a miss, strike two. As opposed to maybe having the ball glance off his glove, and all of a sudden it's an infield hit.
We've seen a lot of pitchers mess up easy double play balls that way by reaching or deflecting.
Or even if he catches it, he still has to make the throw to second, so he just let it go. So 2 outs, nobody on. 0-2 count on Kuzminoff. He's gone. Call strike three. Cologne with his 6th strikeout of the afternoon. Working on a 3-hit shutout as we head to the 9th inning. Dominant performance thus far by Bartolo Colon. And moments ago, Joe Girardi coming down to check with him along with Tony Pena, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And it looks like just a walk away, and it looks like he's told him I can go out there for the 9th inning. And here is Brad Ziegler, the new pitcher for the Oakland A's. He'll face Nick Swisher, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. First pitch is in there for a strike now. Let's see, Robbie Cano talking with Mick Kelleher, who's in charge of infield instruction. And Robbie just said, I'm too quick with the hands. Didn't grab the ball cleanly. So just a reminder.
Yeah,
we're watching it. A ball and a strike on Swisher. And he lines one into center field for at least a base hit. Swisher's going to turn it first. He's going to head for 2 as Chris gets the ball back in. And Swisher has a leadoff double here in the 9th inning. Swisher, of course, played for the Oakland A's. They miss Swish. And Swisher's coming out of the ball game as Chris Dickerson is going to go in and pinch run for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, for New York, number 27, Chris Dickerson, running for Nick Swisher.
It was a good swing by Swisher.
Yeah.
No, we've seen him get better at bats. He got robbed of a home run in Seattle by Franklin Gutierrez and then switched around right-handed and hit a homer and stayed on that ball and drove it into the left center gap. Dickerson's going to come in not only as a pinch runner but also a good defender as well.
Here's Gardner. Let's see what he does here. We'll lay down a bunt, try and get Dickerson over the third. Now takes inside for ball 1. Think about driving in the run himself. So Swisher leads off with his 8th double of the year. There are the numbers on Ziegler.
Only 4 walks, 18 innings.
Cody, if you make a comeback, this is how you're going to deliver now. You can drop down like Ziegler.
Yeah, be a knuckle dragger.
There's the bunt, and it's a good one. Ziegler looks at third, and he took too much time. It's going to be an infield single for Gardner. That was a mistake. When he looked at third, Kuzminov was right next to him. Nobody to throw the ball to.
Yeah, big mistake. Suzuki's got to let him know right here. And Ziegler's got to have a better presence of mind of who's running. No chance to get Gardner with the hesitation.
Now batting, number 17.
But right here, Suzuki's got to be telling him. First base, first base, and there's nothing. And Ziegler confused with the hesitation. He might as well eat it right there.
Well, Gardner would have been satisfied with a sacrifice bunt. Instead, he gets himself a base hit. The Yankees have runners at first and third, nobody out. And Francisco Cervelli, who's been on base twice, once with a single and once with a base on balls. Inside, ball one. The Yankees have stolen 4 bases today, so they've gone to a little bit of small ball and some speed. And they've done it against a team that has allowed the fewest stolen bases, but fewest percentage steals against them. Only 54% of the runners have made it against the A's. There's a look at first and third. Gardner's not going.
Well, you know, if you think about it, the Yankees have had a lead early in every game on this road trip so far. And the first 2 nights, they kind of gave it back and coughed up the lead. But the last 2 with Sabathia and now Colon, those pitchers have made it stand up.
Little bouncer, but it's foul, and it's a ball and a strike to Cervelli. So the Yankees threatening to tack on again here in the 9th inning. They already have a 4-0 lead. Scored a run without a hit in the 7th inning on a sacrifice fly by Derek Jeter, who was on deck. Throw to first. Gardner's back. Gardner has 2 stolen bases today. He stole second and third in the 7th inning and scored that run on the sacrifice fly. He's not going. The pitch is Cervelli is swung on and missed for strike 2, 1-2.
He's still got the bat. He's ready to hit.
Like I said, interleague play is coming.
He's making the game look easy right now. It's not that easy, Kenny, I'm telling you.
Nobody in the Yankee bullpen. Nobody warming up, that is. Cervelli fouls the pitch back.
Bartolo's got to learn how to loosen up a little bit. He's a little tight.
6 strikeouts, no walks, just 3 hits. There goes Gardner. The pitch is hit in the air to right field. DeJesus on the run makes the catch. Gardner's going to have to hustle to get back to first. He does. The run will score on the sacrifice fly by Francisco Cervelli. I think DeJesus knew he couldn't get the runner headed to home, so he tried to double up Gardner. Instead, gives Cervelli a run batted in on the sacrifice fly. The second sacrifice fly for the Yankees in the game.
Gardner off and running. DeJesus, the nice running grab. Gardner with enough speed to retreat.
So the Yankees now lead 5-0. There's Gardner on the retreat. Dickerson headed home. Nice piece of camera work right there.
Coming and going.
Pick up 2 runners in full flight. Here's Jeter. And first pitch misses, ball 1. Derek is 1 for 2. Singleton scored, popped up, walked, then hit a sacrifice fly in the 7th. The hit, by the way, was 2,981 in his career. Now this 19 away from 3,000. Little bouncer foul off of Derek's foot.
Motivated me more.
Derek Jeter, May 30th in Seattle. 1995 that he got his first major league hit. A young Derek Jeter.
And Grantino on first base for the Mariners. Tino Martinez.
Future teammate. Off the corner. 2 balls and a strike. Gardner might want to take off here and get himself in scoring position. We'll see. He'd pick up his 3rd stolen base of the game. Not going. Ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. If he's going to go, he's going to go on this pitch. Curtis Granderson would be next. Not going. And Jeter lines it to the first baseman, Barton, who steps on the bag for the double play. And that's going to end it for the Yankees here tonight. But they pick up another run for Bartolo Colon. Can Colon get the shutout? Stay tuned. We're going to the bottom of the 9th with the Yankees leading. We'll try and be ready to see if Colon can complete the shutout here. He's working on a 3-hitter. His last shutout was on July 5th, 2006 at Seattle. He's got the number 9 hitter Pennington leading off, and the first pitch is in there for a call strike. That's what Pennington has done today. Popped the Jeter and fly it out to right. He's 0 for 2. Hits this one well to right center field. Dickerson is on the move, and this is going to split the difference between he and Granderson. Off the wall, and Pennington's on with a leadoff double here in the 9th inning. Just the 4th hit allowed by Bartolo Colon. The ball's hit well. 4th double of the season for Pennington.
See Jabba Chamberlain heating it up.
Yeah. So Colon approaching 100 pitches in the game. To face Coco Crisp, who's grounded out, struck out, and reached on a fielder's choice. He is 0 for 3. Hits one hard on the backhand as Robinson Cano will throw on the first for the out. On the play, Pennington moves over to 3rd. So Colon's going to be tested here to hold on to his shutout. But he's got a 5-run lead to work with.
With the 5-run lead, you see Derek Barton stepping in. If he could hold on to the shutout, it would be his 9th of his career. Other than that, the complete game would be nice as well.
Yeah.
Only 2 Yankee pitchers have thrown complete games since C.C. Sabathia became a Yankee. Of course, C.C.'s one of them. He's got 5 complete games. The only other Yankee pitcher to even have a complete game since Sabathia has been a Yankee is A.J. Burnett, who has 2.
Ball is popped up. A-Rod looks like he might have room. He makes the catch for the second out, and of course, no advance by the runner at 3rd. So Colon gets the big pop-up into foul territory. That ball, as I said in other stadiums, is in the seats. So now he's 1 out away from the complete game shutout.
I mean, A-Rod, if you're an infielder here, you got to be prepared to cover a lot of ground, almost over by the tarp. That is more ground, as Ken said, than any other stadium in the big leagues.
The 2 outs and David DeJesus, who's grounded out, struck out, and grounded back to Colon. And he's the man who stands between Bartolo Colon and a complete game shutout. And the first pitch is fouled off.
94 miles an hour from Bartolo Colon on his 102nd pitch.
Kind of one of those afternoons for Larry Rothschild on your left and Joe Girardi. Just watch Colon work. Ball is hit in the air to left field. Brett Gardner is there, and Cologne, he's been wonderful this afternoon. A 4-hit shutout of the Oakland A's in the opening game of this 3-game series. A big hug for Francisco Cervelli, as the Yankees are now evened up their record on this road trip at 2-2. 2 complete games, 9-inning complete games for Bartolo Colon. Bartolo Colon. I like the way he said to Cano, yeah, I got you. He picked up the whole team this afternoon as the Yankees win the opener of this series. So Colon picks up his 3rd win of the year, his 5th straight win here in Oakland, and runs his career record against the Oakland A's to 7-5. Gets congratulations from his Yankee teammates. The Yankees got some big hits in the first inning, scoring 3 runs, a home run for Mark Teixeira and a run scoring double by Robinson Cano, and then added runs in the 7th and 9th innings to win 5-0. Right now we're going to go down to Kim Jones, is standing by with a guest. Kim.
Kenny, thank you. I'm with Mark Teixeira. Mark, what can you say about Bartolo Colon, a 4-hit shutout today?
That's incredible. I mean, that's an impressive performance right there. That's what we needed. You're not going to score a lot of runs off Cahill, and he did a great job shutting him down early.
Do you know when he's on the mound and he's right, you're going to have a busy day at first base, fielding all those ground ball throws?
Yeah, you know what? He just does an amazing job working quickly, keeps us on our feet. That's what I love about Bartolo. He's always throwing strikes.
And you gave him all the runs he needed in the first inning. Mark, as a power hitter, can you get into a zone? 4 home runs in your last 5, 7 and 11. It seems like you're in one, are you?
Yeah, you know, I feel pretty good with the home runs, and it's just about being aggressive on good pitches, and I'm getting some good pitches to hit.
And I know you guys felt like you let one get away Friday, the series opener in Seattle, to get this first one of this series. Big win?
Yeah, it's a big win. That's a good team across the way. Very good pitching. And like I said, you're not going to score many runs off Cahill, but we did a good job early, and Bartolo did his part definitely.
Mark, and with your father, a former Navy pilot, let's let you have the final word on this Memorial Day.
Yeah, thanks to all of our troops on Memorial Day. You guys are the best, and especially Navy. You know, go Navy.
Thanks so much, Mark. Kenny and David.
Thank you very much, Kim. Thanks, Mark Teixeira. The Yankees win the opening game of this series by a score of 5-0. A lot of Yankee fans are happy this afternoon on this Memorial Day. Good celebration here in Oakland, California. We'll be back.
Welcome back, everybody, once again to the WB Mason post-game show. Yankees win 5-0 in Oakland today to start off the series. Let's welcome back in our guys, Kenny Singleton and David Cone. And fellas, we are going to start with Bartolo Colon, the complete game shutout. Colon and Cervelli had a good little thing going, just a lot of first pitch strikes. He was a fastball for strikes machine today. And David, I like how you said yesterday, perhaps getting better than ever.
Well, yes. I mean, he's everybody's best friend right now. He's an easy guy. He's an easy guy to catch for the catcher. He's an easy guy to call for the broadcasters. He's an easy guy to write about for the writers. They're going to get out of here quickly. I mean, everybody loves Bartolo Colon today on the holiday, but he was fantastic. I mean, everything you could say about him is true. He just makes it look so easy. The game's not that easy, but he's making it look easy. And on the bench, he's as loose as a goose. You know, it's pretty fun to watch right now.
Well, you mentioned the fact that the catcher makes it easy on the catcher, and Cervelli wasn't supposed to catch him today. It was supposed to be Russell Martin. Martin came out of the lineup with a sore toe. He had fouled the ball off his foot, but Cervelli stepped right in, and Bartolo Colon, anybody, you could have caught him today the way he was going. Maybe even you, Nancy.
I was going to say, maybe even me. He looked that good. About the offense, fellas, they've been kind of making a habit of getting out early. They did that again today. And the big blow, Mark Teixeira, the 2-run blast.
Yeah, he's made it look easy as far as hitting's concerned lately. I think that's his 7th home run in his last 11 ball games and 3rd on this West Coast trip. 2 in Seattle, now 1 here in Oakland. It seems when he's getting his pitch right now, he is not missing it. He's been a big RBI producer. Yeah,
he just looks locked in. Even the outs that he's made, he's just missed. He almost had another home run, too, and just missed it almost right to deep right field that DeJesus caught. But, you know, when you get locked in as a hitter like that, and Kenny knows that, and I've seen him do it many times, boy, the ball looks bigger. You just get good swings. You spit on bad pitches, you know, really up and down. Teixeira's not swinging at a lot of bad pitches. He's recognizing better, and when he gets his pitch, he's not missing it.
All righty, guys. Thanks for the job today. Another great job done, and we will see you tomorrow. Look forward to it, and enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day evening.
You too, Nancy. Thank you very much.
Hey, guys. See you tomorrow night. All righty, let's take a look at the Yankees during day games, shall we? They've had a pretty darn good record. 12-3 to begin the day. It's now 13-3, averaging just about 7 runs per game. Batting average, a team batting average, about 280, 30 home runs under the sunlight, and a team ERA of 3.44. So plenty of success during the daytime. Let's get the thoughts now of the skipper, Joe Girardi. His post-game thoughts are brought to you by Geico.
And, I thought one of the keys, too, was, after we got the 3-0 lead, second inning, Willingham leads off with a double, and they don't score. And it just showed you how on he was today in his location. We've seen it before. When his location is as good as it is today, it's hard to score runs.
Is he like CeCe in that he knows how to pitch with a lead?
I think so, and I always think he has that extra in the tank. I think his last pitch was 95 miles an hour. I mean, he has the ability. He gives off a leadoff double in the ninth, and they don't score again. So, I mean, he knows how to do it. He's been doing it for a long time.
You checked with him after 8. Did he really want to complete that one? Did he have a conviction about going back out there?
Well, he told me he had 2 more in him, and I said, well, I don't want to go 2 more. I want this to be it. So, yeah, I mean, he said he was great, and we were sending him back out.
It's easy to ask this on Today, Joe, but do you get a kick out of him? I mean, he is so demonstrative in the dugout.
He's a pleasure to be around. He's the same every day. You never know how he's pitching. You never know if he is pitching that day. I mean, he's just, he's, in a sense, he's a little bit like CeCe. He's the same every day. And he may joke a little bit more than CeCe, but they're pretty close.
Joe, how critical was it to get a lead against Cahill early? I mean, given that, usually sinker ballers get stronger.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was real important because then he shut us down about the next 5 innings and really didn't give up much. And he's had an outstanding year so far this year. Last year he had an outstanding year as well, an all-star. So we know how tough he was, and it was good to jump on him quick.
What does it tell you about where Teixeira is right now, that the power stroke didn't leave him in a couple of big ballparks so far on the road?
I mean, he's been great. I mean, he's been on a great streak for us. And Tex is a guy, it seems like when it starts to warm up, he's one of those guys that really warms up. And even though we haven't been in really warm weather, he's really warmed up. We've had a couple hot days at home. But, I mean, Tex is a guy that can carry a club and can put up a lot of runs for you in a hurry, and he's been doing that.
To start a series with this kind of a win, Joe, does what for a club?
It does a lot. Your bullpen basically gets 2 days off. And after losing 2 tough games, you come out and win 2 games in a row against some tough pitching. I think it does a lot, and you try to carry that into tomorrow.
Is your hope that Russell Martin's available tomorrow?
Yeah, my hope is he's available, and, the toe is sore. It started, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago, and he seemed to get over that when he got hit with a line drive in BP. And then he was fine, and he hit the ball off the same toe. So I told him, there's only really one option, and that's either, or 2 options, leaving it the way it is or taking it off. So you make your choice.
So if the results...
All righty, that's the skipper, Joe Girardi. The manager's report brought to you by Geico. Well, the Yankees open up a 3-game set in Oakland today with victory behind a strong performance from Bartolo Colon and a Yankee offense that got all it needed early. Game highlights now brought to you by Lincoln. Top 1 out, and Derek Jeter on second. Mark Teixeira teeing off on Trevor Cahill. Deep and out, his 16th of the year, 3rd on this West Coast trip. 2-zip for the Yankees. That would be all they would need. 2 batters later, after Alex Rodriguez walked, Robinson Cano laces it into the gap in right center. A-Rod hustling around third. He will score, but Cano takes too big a turn around second. He will be thrown out. Try to get back. Still, though, it is an RBI double, and the Yankees lead 3-0. In the bottom of the second, we have our Johnny Walker defensive play of the game. With a runner on second and 2 out, Mark Ellis grounds to third off Colon. Alex Rodriguez, the low throw. Mark Teixeira scooping it up beautifully at first, saving perhaps an error and a run. One more look to share that glistening glove. Demand greatness in every sip and every season. Johnny Walker, proud sponsor of the New York Yankees. Moving on to the third, Colon. He had it going all day. Blows the fastball right by Coco Crisp and that hairdo. Bottom 5, Colon still cruising. Gets Mark Ellis to fly out to right. That marked the 12th straight Athletic. He retired since allowing a double in the 2nd inning. That closes the 5th. To the 8th, Kevin Kuzminoff at the plate. Looks at the fastball over the outside corner, and that's the inning. To the 9th, Colon looking for the complete game shutout. Gets it, getting David DeJesus flying out to left. He allowed only 4 hits, struck out 6, did not walk a single batter. Impressive as the Yankees win it 5-0. Now some notes. This is the first Yankee complete game shutout since CeCe's in 2009. The 9th career complete game shutout of Bartolo Colon's career. The Yankees had not had a 9-inning complete game shutout in 341 games. Now 2 over the last 6 games in CeCe and Colon. So checking out now the leaders, brought to you by Toyota, and we see that Bartolo Colon remains comfortable pitching against the A's on the road. Just as was the case earlier in his career, Colon was terrific in Oakland today. His lifetime batting average against there, just 179, his lowest among current American League ballparks. When we come back, more on the man of the hour, Bartolo Colon, and his complete game 4-hit shutout. Stay there. Our pitching performance of the day is presented by Land Rover. And who gets it? Well, Bartolo Colon, of course. He flirted with complete game efforts a couple of times earlier this season. Today, he delivered his first complete game shutout in almost 5 years. He lowered his ERA for the season down to 3.26, picking up his 3rd win of the year in the process. It's the latest chapter in one of baseball's more remarkable comeback stories of the year. That was your pitching performance of the day, presented by Land Rover. Here's today's pitching matchup as we look back on the day, Colon versus Cahill, and it is Colon that wins the battle, marking the Yankees' first shutout of the season. 9 innings for him, the complete game shutout, 4-hitter, no walks. Very impressive. Let's hear from Colon with Roman Rodriguez.
Means a lot to me, and then thanks to the manager that let me pitch that nice inning.
We hear what a funny guy you are, and Joe said after 8 you told him you had 2 left. Did you?
Él dice que tú eres muy gracioso y entonces que le dijiste a Joe después del 8º inning que te quedan 2 innings más.
No, eso yo le dije y él me dijo, no, dime si está bien, si yo estoy bien para terminar.
Yeah, I told Joe that, and he asked me, you okay, Bartolo? And I said, yes, I'm ready to finish that game. I feel good.
What did the early lead do for you? Were you able to be just really aggressive?
Que la ventaja que tomamos temprano en el primer inning, que si eso te ayudó a estar más agresivo.
No, eso me ayuda mucho, pero siempre yo estoy pichando como si el juego estuviera 0-0, porque así tengo más motivación.
That helped me a lot, but I always pitch like the game is 0-0.
Joe also thought it was big that the Willingham double, he never scored in the 2nd. You kept a run off the board there. How did you do that, and was that a big point for you?
Yo pienso que el doble de Willingham, que lo dejaste en la base, nunca anotó, y que si eso fue un buen punto para ti, que la carrera nunca anotó.
No, eso es un buen punto. Yo cuando tengo gente en posición anotadora, como que me concentro más con los bateadores, eso me ayuda mucho.
That was good, because when I have men in scoring position, I concentrate better.
Bartolo, how do you describe this? Is it a dream? Does it seem real that you're off to this kind of start, and of course this particular game today?
¿Cómo tú describes esto? Que si esto es un sueño, que si esto es realidad, que cómo te sientes que estás pichando de esta manera.
No, para mí es realidad, pues, dándole gracias a Dios, como dice, y seguir así para seguir ayudando al equipo.
I feel really good. I mean, I thank God that I'm healthy and I'm helping the team to win.